Something happened to you today, or maybe it was yesterday, or perhaps a long time ago, but your body still remembers. You were sitting somewhere quiet, and then without warning it arrived. A weight you couldn't name, a heaviness that settled somewhere deep inside your chest, not quite pain, not quite numbness. Something in between. You didn't choose it, it simply came. And what most people do in that moment is wait for it to pass. They drink water. They distract themselves. They sleep early, hoping that tomorrow will feel different. But here is what nobody tells you. While you are waiting for that feeling to pass, your body has already begun a 24-hour biological process that is quietly changing nearly every system inside you. Your heart rate has shifted. Your immune cells have received a new signal. Your gut has begun releasing different chemicals. Your brain has started restructuring itself. And most astonishing of all, scientists have discovered that this process follows a precise biological timeline, almost like a clock, ticking silently. Deep inside your cells, the question is not whether sadness affects your body. The question is exactly what is your body doing about it, and why? What actually happens inside the human body after a moment of deep emotional pain? Not in the mind, not in the feelings, but physically, biologically, at the cellular level? For centuries, humans treated sadness as something purely emotional, a state of the mind, a condition of the soul, but modern science has uncovered something far more profound. Sadness is not just a feeling, it is a full-body biological event, and the 24 hours following a moment of deep sadness may be the most scientifically remarkable period your body ever experiences. You already know what sadness feels like on the outside, the heaviness in your limbs, the strange exhaustion that no amount of sleep seems to fix, the way food loses its taste, the way music sounds different, the way a room full of people can feel completely empty. You know the tight feeling in your throat when you are trying not to cry. You know the hollow sensation in your chest that makes you press your hand against your ribs, almost as if you are checking that something is still there. You know the 3 a.m. stillness, when the world is quiet but your mind refuses to be. These are not imaginary sensations. Every single one of them has a biological explanation. Every single one of them is your body speaking a language that science is only now beginning to translate. And that translation begins the moment sadness arrives. In 2015, researchers at the University of California conducted a study that would quietly change how scientists understand human emotion. They discovered that emotional pain and physical pain activate nearly identical regions of the brain. The anterior cingulate cortex, a region long associated with processing physical injury, lights up during social and emotional loss in almost the same way it does when you cut your hand or break a bone. Your brain, in other words, does not clearly distinguish between a broken heart and a broken arm. Both register as damage. Both trigger a repair response. And that repair response, that is what the next 24 hours are all about. Further research from the University of Ohio revealed something equally striking. A single episode of acute emotional stress, the kind that follows grief, loss, or deep sadness, can measurably suppress the immune system within just 2 hours. 2 hours, that is how fast your biology responds, and the cascade of events that follows touches nearly every organ in your body. Imagine your body as a vast ancient city. At the center of this city is a control tower, your brain. Around it, millions of roads carry messages in every direction, to the heart, to the lungs, to the gut, to the skin, to the immune system stationed at the city's borders. Under normal conditions, this city runs smoothly. Traffic flows. Workers do their jobs. The supply chain operates without interruption. But when something deeply painful happens, when loss arrives, when grief enters, it is as if a storm warning is broadcast from the control tower simultaneously to every district of the city. The heart district receives the signal and immediately changes its rhythm. The gut district pauses its regular operations and begins rerouting resources. The immune district goes on high alert, calling in reinforcements, preparing for possible damage. The sleep district begins altering its schedule. And the memory district, perhaps most remarkably of all, starts doing something extraordinary, something that scientists are still struggling to fully understand. This city, your body, does not treat sadness as an inconvenience. It treats it as an emergency. And everything that follows in the next 24 hours is your body's emergency response protocol. The first hour, the moment deep sadness registers in the brain, the hypothalamus, a structure roughly the size of an almond, buried deep inside your skull, fires. It sends an urgent signal down through the brainstem, along the vagus nerve, one of the longest nerves in your body, running from your brain all the way to your abdomen, and the signal reaches your heart within seconds. Your heart rate variability changes. The rhythm becomes less flexible, less adaptive. Cardiologists call this reduced HRV, and it is associated with increased cardiovascular stress. This is why you feel your heartbeat differently during moments of grief. It is not your imagination. Your heart is literally beating in a changed pattern. Simultaneously, your adrenal glands, small triangular structures sitting on top of your kidneys, receive the signal and begin releasing cortisol. Cortisol floods into your bloodstream. Within minutes, it reaches your immune cells, specifically your natural killer cells, the body's frontline defenders against infection and inflammation, and it begins to suppress them. This is why people often get physically ill in the days following grief or emotional trauma. Their immune system has been quietly dialed down by their own stress hormones. Horse 2 through 6 as cortisol continues to circulate, it reaches your gut. Your gut contains more than 100 million neurons, more than your spinal cord. Scientists call it the second brain, and it is exquisitely sensitive to emotional signals. Under the influence of cortisol, gut motility changes. The balance of bacteria in your microbiome begins to shift. Serotonin production, 90% of which occurs in the gut, not the brain, begins to fluctuate. This is why sadness affects your appetite, why food feels wrong, why your stomach seems to clench or hollow out. Your gut is not reacting to sadness. It is participating in it. During this same window, your brain begins altering its neural activity in the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for rational thought, decision-making, and emotional regulation. Activity decreases. The amygdala, your brain's ancient alarm center, becomes more dominant. This is why clear thinking becomes difficult during grief, why small decisions feel enormous, why the future seems foggy and uncertain. Your rational brain has stepped back. Your survival brain has taken the wheel. Horse 6 through 12. Something remarkable begins to happen in your bloodstream. Researchers have identified specific inflammatory markers, molecules called cytokines, particularly interleukin-6, that rise significantly during periods of emotional distress. Inflammation is your body's universal repair signal. It is the same process that surrounds a wound to begin healing it. When you experience deep sadness, your body initiates a low-grade inflammatory response, as if it is trying to repair something, because in a very real biological sense, it is. Emotional pain causes measurable structural stress on the body, and the body responds the only way it knows how. It tries to heal. Horse 12 through 24. Now, something extraordinary happens in the brain itself. During sleep, particularly in the deep REM cycles of emotional processing, the brain does something scientists have only recently begun to document. It consolidates the emotional memory. It does not erase it. It integrates it. New synaptic connections form. Old ones are pruned. The emotional weight of the experience is gradually encoded into long-term memory, stripped, over time, of its raw intensity. This process, called memory reconsolidation, is why the pain of grief typically softens over time, not because you forget, but because your brain literally restructures how the memory is stored, and during those same sleep hours, your body begins producing higher levels of growth hormone, repairing cellular damage caused by the cortisol storm of the previous hours. Your immune system begins to recover, your gut bacteria begin to rebalance, your heart rate variability slowly normalizes, your body, quietly, without your permission, without your awareness, begins to rebuild. Here is what is extraordinary about all of this. Your body never asked you whether you wanted to feel sad. It never waited for your permission to begin the repair process. The moment pain arrived, your biology mobilized. Every system, every organ, every cell that could contributed. Think about what that means. You did not have to be brave. You did not have to be strong. You did not have to do anything at all. Your body, this ancient, extraordinary biological machine, has been surviving grief and loss and pain for hundreds of thousands of years. It knows what to do. It has always known what to do. And perhaps the most human thing we do is doubt it. We lie awake at night wondering if we will ever feel normal again. We worry that the sadness is permanent. We question whether we are healing correctly, or healing fast enough, or healing at all. But underneath that doubt, at the cellular level, the work is already underway. But here is where the science becomes deeply important to understand. Because the 24-hour biological response to sadness, while extraordinary, is also fragile. When grief is suppressed, the process breaks. Studies have shown that people who actively suppress emotional pain, who push it down, distract themselves, refuse to acknowledge it, show prolonged elevation of cortisol. Their inflammatory markers stay elevated longer. Their immune suppression lasts longer. The body still tries to run its repair protocol. But without the emotional release, the crying, the stillness, the acknowledgement, it cannot complete the cycle. Researchers at Harvard Medical School found that unexpressed grief is associated with significantly higher rates of cardiovascular disease, autoimmune disorders, and chronic inflammation, not because sadness is dangerous, but because blocked sadness is your tears, which many people are taught to suppress, to see as weakness, are not a symptom of breaking down. They are part of the repair mechanism. Human tears produced during emotional distress contain measurably different chemistry than tears caused by irritants like smoke or wind. Emotional tears contain leucine and enkephalin, a natural painkiller. They contain ACTH, a stress hormone being expelled from the body. When you cry, you are not losing control. You are completing a biological process your body desperately needs to complete. And when you don't, the process stalls, and your body pays the price. So here is the answer to the question we began with. What happens to your body in the 24 hours after deep sadness? Your brain registers emotional pain in the same pathways as physical injury. Your hypothalamus fires, your cortisol rises, your heart rhythm changes, your immune system is suppressed, your gut chemistry shifts, your inflammatory markers elevate, your prefrontal cortex quiets and your amygdala takes control. And then, if you allow it, your body begins to heal through stillness, through tears, through sleep, through time. Your brain consolidates the memory, your immune system recovers, your gut rebalances, your cortisol falls, your heart finds its rhythm again. The entire process, this extraordinary 24-hour biological journey, is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is evidence of something almost miraculous. Your body was built for this. Not built to avoid pain, built to survive it, built to process it, built to carry it, and eventually, slowly, gently, transform it. Every system that responded to your sadness was not failing you. It was protecting you.